All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Mimosa Hotline, where Ronnie Bartles, the business strategist, and myself, Ashley Rhoda, your brand strategist, go live every Thursday for the raw, real, and unfiltered about what's going on in life, business, and all of the areas. And so we're doing what we do. We're excited to have you guys with us, either live or on the replay. Yep. Join us. Ronnie's drinking a mimosa, which is great. I'm on it. There's no liquid on my desk, to be honest. I don't have anything, but just another good weekend for us. So hop in the comments, say hello. If you have questions for us, either for our expertise or you just want to chat with us for girl time, please do so. And we're gonna do what we do. So one announcement to share with you is next week, next Thursday, which I guess is the 6th, July 6th, we will have our next guest expert joining us, Christopher Dersano with True Focus Production. He's a videographer here in Chicago. And if you like what we've been serving you with experts so far, you're going to love him. When I first got to Chicago, I was trying to build my local A team because some of the vendors that I would work with, such as makeup artists, stylists, videographers, photographers, they kind of need to be in person. While you can fly other ones out, if someone's wanting to be cost efficient with their budget, then, I needed to have these people. And Christopher and I just kind of bonded. I know, Ronnie, you had like a strategy session with him too. So he's just a cool dude and a great person.
Yeah. So sweet.
Yeah.
Like
and
he's just
also
sweet.
Like an expert of his craft too.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. He'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited on that one because he's just generally just sweet, which also makes me a little worried as to why he wants to hang out with us.
We're sweet. No. Oh. When you win, you win some, you lose some. Like my light's on today, but my light's not on today. Darn it. Yeah. Why does he want to hang out with us mess balls? Like, I don't know.
I know.
No, he's a cool guy though. And it's just nice when people are down to earth, love their craft, eager to network with others, and just good humans. It's nice. It's refreshing, right?
Yeah. Which is also interesting and kind of serendipitous because he lives in Chicago and that's how you met him. But him and his wife honeymooned in Charleston.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that was because, obviously he was like, where are you at? And I was like, in Charleston. He was like, oh, we honeymooned there. So I was like, oh, so you're familiar with my area a little bit.
That's cute. I love
so that was cute.
Yeah. Didn't know.
Yeah.
Networking has been a big thing I've been doing. Sounds like you too. Do you want to share? You mentioned you were, you've got two, networking last night, and then also your marriage coaching with your other business partner that I'm not jealous about.
Not at all, right? No, I was going to say you'd be proud of me. I networked last night and I don't do that often anymore, which is bad. I need to be much better about it, but but this was kind of very specific for podcast networking. And it's a group, they meet monthly virtually from all over the world. And there were 3, 6, 8 of us last night, which was super cool. A couple business people, a lot of therapists turned spiritual, kind of more holistic healing kinds of coaching stuff, which there were 3 of those on the call last night. I'm like, this seems to be a trend because obviously the coach we're using with Jim is also a therapist turned coach. Gotcha. So that seems to be, which I really appreciate because then they have this different coaching skill side to them that's very therapy based. Yeah. So, but interestingly enough, there were 3 of them on the call last night. They all did something slightly different, which was super cool, but what's this telling me here?
Am I seeing 3s or is this a thing?
Or is this a sign of something? So it was super cool. I mean, I've hopefully, booked an interview gig off of it already. So nice. Which is really nice. But the really funny thing is that I was going to tell you about was, so this kind of leads into my conversation with our new coach. So since last week, we've had 2 sessions. We had one on Friday, which was our first, and then one on Tuesday afternoon this week. And so on the Friday session, we probably got a little bit more into kind of personally, what do we want to do with our careers and business and stuff. And then Tuesdays with a little bit more business focused. And I told both of them afterwards, I was like, this is like marriage counseling for business couples. Because we do kind of have this running joke, like Jim's my work husband and I'm his work wife.
Yeah.
Like
it happens in a lot of relationships.
It happens in a lot of work. And I mean, honestly, like with your work relation, particularly if you like work in a job in an office, like you see those people more than you do your significant other. Like,
sure, yeah.
You know, I probably talk to Jim more than I talk to Helen, and we live in the same house.
Yeah.
So, but the interesting thing that came up on Tuesday in our call was, you know, she's trying to kind of help us with like, where do we want to like position ourselves and how do we kind of move forward from here as a team? And, you know, what does Concentric as a brand stand on its own? And, you know, how do we kind of get more visibility in the places we want to be? And she brought up podcasting and she was like, you know, webinars and podcasts, I think would be a really great like medium for you guys, you know, which I personally am like, I love that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't want to do the back end editing stuff, but I love to do them. And she was like, I could see like you guys doing like 2 different podcasts. One that would be very like compliance driven for the ISO engineer geeks, but then another one that was more business driven that would get to the more C-suite level people that we want to talk to. So she talked about that and like podcasting and or like webinar, some sort of video audio kind of series that we could do together that kind of would get us a little bit more exposure.
We should have him here.
Yeah, I mean, well, I talk about him so much. We should
do like a test run. Be like, okay, you two, I'm just here to facilitate. I want to watch you. Let's go. Let's see you in action.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, everybody's heard so much about Jim at this point. They're like, I got to meet this guy. I
also feel like he needs his moment to defend many things. And I feel like it's only appropriate and polite to be like, okay, dude, like you can have a moment. Like, tell us all the things that we've said that were wrong and like, we're sorry. Like, yeah.
Well, and I mean, she had kind of asked us a bunch of questions beforehand. And I told you this on Sunday, but you know, we had like 16 questions that we each needed to fill out individually for ourselves. And she was like, don't share with each other while you're filling them out. Well, of course, we followed directions apparently a little too well because we didn't share it with each other at all. And so she was like, I just meant while you were filling them out, like afterwards you could. And I was like, oh, so then we sent each other our questions over the weekend, which I think was interesting to kind of give each of us a look. Like they were definitely all things I knew about him, but just a slightly different insight as to kind of like how the thought process of some things work.
Yeah.
So that was good. And it was nice to also see his answers to the same questions I have and go, actually, we do still have the same vision. We might not have it in the roles we want to play. Like I want to be more visible. He doesn't care about that. Right. Like, but our vision of like how we want to work with companies is still in alignment with each other. So that was kind of
good,
which is good. Right. Like that's kind of, you know, reaffirming. So that was good. But so when I was on the networking call last night, you know, they were like, they didn't want the whole like sales pitch, what you do. It was very kind of informal. What's your story? Like, who are you is really kind of what they wanted to know, which makes sense when you're in the podcasting world. Like, sure, you have your pitch and your story, but it's really about who you are and being authentic. I mean, we know that from this. So it's very impromptu. And I kind of like went through my journey a little bit and I talked about Mimosa Hotline and how this was kind of a passion project and like, we're figuring out what we're doing with it. And I was like, and just this week, you know, there might be new podcasts on the table for like moving with another client into that kind of space as well. And they were like, that's cool. And so I mentioned like being the CEO of Simplicity. And I talked about that and like the platforms when I get interviewed that I like do. So generally, when I do a podcast interview, it starts off with the marketing piece of like marketing as a science, because everybody thinks they have a marketing problem. But by the end of the interview, we are full on into CEO of Simplicity. Like every single interview I've had in the last year has transitioned into that. Like, yes, everybody kind of like gets hooked in with the marketing piece, but what they really want to know is how to make this simple. And so I was kind of talking about that and like how, you've dubbed me the CEO of simplicity. And the lady that was like leading the group, that's the head of it, she was like, by the way, CEO of Simplicity is a great name for a podcast. And I was like, interesting. I never thought of it that way, but yeah, maybe so.
Well, it's a brand, so it would just naturally be the name of the show. But yes,
Yeah. She was like, that would make a great title for a podcast. And I was like,
yeah,
see where that takes me. But so it was great. Like I haven't been networking in a long time. I find it very awkward. I'm a terrible networker. I'm just,
oh my gosh, I want to see you. Like, I want to try it one time in person. I mean, we would rock the room if we were in person together, but still, I want to like secretly watch like what you're talking about being awkward, because I don't think you would be awkward at it. Like, I mean, I get it, you want to be, but
well, so like I'm probably not awkward outwardly when I'm talking to people. I feel awkward.
Sure, we all do. Even the most like best networkers like myself. I even got there a little bit last night. It was this smaller group, and I went. Not to change topics, but I too went networking last night, and it was a smaller group in my opinion. I would say there were probably, if I could actually do I'm going to just aim with 20 people, let's say. So smaller group, but I was invited in. I didn't know anyone, and they all were very well networked, and there were other guests too, but like I knew I was one of the guests, so I was like fresh meat. And I have that too every now and then. I was talking to a few people and I just felt like I was like monopolizing their time, or they were like really interested, but you sometimes question, is somebody really this genuinely interested in this conversation? And I would say like, hey, I don't mean to monopolize your time, or just the way that the room was set up. Like that person and I would be over here talking, and then all of a sudden, like, the group was over here, just the way that it flowed. And I was like, I'm not trying to pull you to the side, sorry, but like, really, I want to and stalk you and like all the things. But yeah, I have been, I think that might be another reason why my energy is a little bit lower too, is like yesterday was early start, like with a one-on-one coffee date, then an afternoon lunch with Zoom with a friend, and then commute to like, I think we were there at least 3 hours, I think, last night. So it's just, as we always say, a lot of peopling, but the best peopling too, and it's so interesting how networking can affect you, because you and I both know Tuesday wiped me out. I was in tears, calling like multiple friends, trying to find my face again. And then yesterday I felt so good. I came home and I was like, oh my God, there's hope for me. This is going to be great. Oh, look who showed up.
Hi. We have a special guest today.
This is who?
Say hi. Say hi. You're going to be on YouTube now. Okay. Oh, sorry.
She's so cute.
I know. Like, it's a good thing she is, because she is rotten. Yeah. Rotten. Hi. Okay. Oh, she's.
Mom.
I know. I've hit the spot.
Oh, there's a spot.
I hit that, scratch spot that she's like,
She's adorable. We need to get her like a director's chair. Let her sit on things. Dragon just does his like run by, so that would work.
To be honest, if I were to push back from here, I can tell she would like get in my lap and sit in it.
You should try.
It's not
big enough. Naturally sit with you, or are you doing that thing where you're sitting on your foot? Like
I am sitting on my foot, but because I always sit on my foot. But I mean, if we were on the sofa, she'd be in my lap.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It's a cuddle day too. I get that.
Yeah.
But networking is interesting. And finding the opportunities in the podcast. And Tuesday, I thought I never want to network again. I hate people. They're so mean. Like, I just was like, I felt completely shaken and not stirred. And then yesterday reminded me the goodness of humanity and just wild, divine things that happened, Can I share about my little joy rock? Okay.
Please do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that converts to the right way in the video.
It does.
I just
did on mine. Yeah. I was gonna say it did for me.
So this is wild and crazy. So I have, as many of you know, and we're trying to like figure this out and how we publicly share all of this, but I have been job hunting, aka joy hunting, because I've been very selective with my words, and like it's just shitty to be job hunting. No one wants to be job hunting, but if you think of it like joy hunting, and it's like I want to find my next joy, it's a little bit more inspiring, and you actually like do the do's that you need to do. And so last night, God, I got so scared. Talk about being scared, but in like a different reason for like not networking with people. But the hosts fill this like table with a bunch of just trinkets from their home. There's like kids' toys, there's this rock, there's all these things. Like, just think of it like gizmos and gadgets galore, right? All over this table. And the assignment was to pick an item that explained your Q2 the last 3 months and Q3 the next 3 months, and share it with the group. And I'm sitting there like, I don't want to tell you jack shit about the last Q2. And I really don't want to talk much about Q3. So how the hell am I going to get through this assignment? And, you know, we often always think, I think this is something interesting internally. We always know, like, you know, something awkward, like maybe someone won't know that my left pant leg is slightly shorter than my right. Like, I don't fucking know what it is, but you know, that like thing. Right. And you're so conscious of it, but no one else would ever pick up on it, or the things that you just think everyone sees that they don't. And so it was interesting. So I go up to the table and I'm just like, God help me, like something beyond here that's positive that I can talk about. And then there's my little joy rock. And I was like, and I just grabbed it so fast. Everyone was like, damn, that was cat-like reflexes. And I was like, yes, I do have those. Yes, yes, yes. So then I was all excited. And, you know, sometimes you grab it and you're like, I don't actually know what this means, but the word was so clear as day. Like, I'll take that as my visual cue. And then the more that I sat with it, the more I just like fell in love with it. And it just symbolized so much for me. You know, the rock is just like, it has felt like I have just thrown a rock through the glass castle of my life moving out here and just trying to rebuild everything, but also joy because I am intentional in what I want to manifest and what I'm looking for. And when we first got here, you can attest to it. It's so embarrassing, but I would be crying out of happiness at the stupidest things. Like when we got to the L, the main train here, and I'm on the train and my two besties are sitting across from me and I just lose it. Like, it's so embarrassing, but I was so freaking happy and like so excited for this new chapter. And so anyways, I share with my little group. And they're all like, oh, that's so great. And then we go back, and the host was actually sitting, one of the hosts was in my group, and she was like, you know, Ashley, that's my rock, but I want you to have it. And of course your brain's like, be polite. No, oh, no, I could never. But for the first time, I was like, you know, I really do need this right now. And I was like, thank you. And I said, I have every intention of either giving it back to you when I've found my joy, AKA job, so I can share with you like where this little rock has been with me, but also, another idea is I kind of want to pass it on. Like, once my joy has filled this rock, and it reminds me of one of the most incredible nonprofits I've ever been exposed to. Okay, wait, now I can see them in my head, but I can't think of it. Oh gosh, don't you hate when you do this? Yes, BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse. It's a, like Harley Davidson, the roughest of bikers kind of tribe. And what they do is they collect teddy bears, and the teddy bear is hugged by all these burly biker men and just given all this love and just injected with all this love. And then they will support children that have been in abusive situations and either give them the bear, they usually give them the bear, obviously, and tell them that it's full of love. And whenever the bear starts feeling light, to bring it back, and they'll hug it with more love. But then the other thing that they'll do is they take the child to court. So they'll put them in like the sidecar, and then they'll drive to court, and they'll be like, you know, the child, and they have to see their abuser. Like, that's so traumatic. And then yet behind them is like row after row after row of all these burly biker boys, and like, they look so scary, but they're the sweetest humans on the planet. And I remember I'd see a few, and I wonder if there's a chapter here in Chicago. That would be amazing. But I know in Portland, I saw one, and I nearly scared her off her bike because I was like honking so excited. I was like, hello. She's like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's fine. I know who you are, but it's okay. Oh my God. So it just reminded me of that. And so with this little rock though, I kind of need it. And it's funny because I know we all see these at the gift shops, you know, and like, you're like, that's cute. Like, who actually needs this? But there's something different about this one. I've even said on this show, I don't hold crystals going, like I don't have that, but there's something with this. Like, it just, I don't know. there's something to this one I'm excited about. So it was my little fun moment of last night too. But meeting people, it's interesting that, many of us put on the facade of everything's okay and we've got it taken care of. And it's hard to ask for help. It's hard to say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Hey, like, what do you know? And I mean, of all the things, this wild stories, my love for world religions and iconography. And I like watched The Mummy on Tuesday because that's the only thing in life that will make me feel better. But I met this gentleman here in town, Keith Glantz, and he has Glantz is the name of his agency. Glantz Design, to be specific. Oh my God, I know I need a manicure. I'm sorry, it just happened. I should do it that way. There, even better. Anyways, he is telling me how one of his recent projects, he's like, the best architecture we have in Everstein, I think it is. I don't even know how to say this place that I went last night, but up here north, is the Baha'i temple. And I was like, are you kidding me? And he's like, you know what Baha'i is? I was like, of course I know what Baha'i is. Clearly, I shouldn't say things like that, but it was like, oh my God. So we start talking about the Baha'i faith and all that. I was like, oh my God, if I worked at your agency, I would be the girl that would be falling asleep with the style guides on her head because she couldn't stop studying this project. It would be so cool. And so it was just neat to see kind of all of my worlds colliding at once, my woo spiritual side of finding a rock of all damn things. And then my passion for iconography, and the Baha'i faith specifically has all of the religious, I would say, symbols. It uses Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, the Baha'i 9-point star, all the things. And I think it really kind of put me in a unique position as a brand strategist, especially, to be like, I don't look at shit just based off what's taught in design school. Mine is from studying culture and iconography of sorts. And so it's just interesting to see how that all played out. Yeah, just interesting.
Sounds like it was a good night.
Yeah, I'm glad you made me go. Thank you for that. Because I was like, this freaking trip's gonna be $60 round, $60, $70 round trip. I was like, but it was good. And then guess who drove me home? A Congo man. And we had so much fun talking about Jamaicans and Nigerians. Oh man. And it was even better because after the first 10 minutes, it was a 30-minute car ride. After the first 10 minutes, he realized I could speak French. And so he spoke French the rrest of the way home. And he was like, oh my God, this is amazing. That was super fun. But he explained, oh my God, of course you need a Congo man to explain why all of your exes are batshit crazy. It totally makes sense. He's like, they're warm blooded. They're just spicy. They fly at the top of the hat. I was like, oh my God, this totally makes sense now. That's exactly how they are. I was like, okay. And then we were talking about how we just love, I love culture. So don't get me wrong here, but it's just real fun to play and just be the Jamaicans are they're so sensual and just artistic and just Caribbean in their ways. And Nigerian too. They're very spicy and they love to eat spicy chilies, but they're also very temperamental.
Right.
But they're very temperamental and just fun to talk about the different cultures. And he's like, I even told him, I was like, somebody called me recently a snow bunny, which that's fine. It's basically a term that means a white girl that is appreciative of other colors. Let's put it that way. And he was like, yeah, you're good. And it's just fun to be in your environment, I guess. And
yeah,
you're supposed to be. Do you know what I mean?
And meet people that are your people.
Yeah. And just, yeah. So interesting night, but good times. I knew I give myself credit too. My French was a lot better than I expected it to be.
Good.
It's good. The right environment apparently just comes out. So
I don't know about mine. I minored in it, but nope.
Well, we were really talking a lot about, you got to have somebody else to speak it with, to have it come up. And then as soon as they say something, then it kind of opens your brain a little bit more. If I were to just sit here and be like, blah, 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 it wouldn't really come out that well. But in conversation, it's almost like a rhythm or a song that you just kind of remember lyrics from.
Yes. And I'm sure if I were immersed in it, I would pick it up fairly quickly. I was never also the best conversationalist. I was a very good reader. Like I could
Yeah.
read it very well, but I wasn't as great of a conversationalist in it.
I
Because
feel like it's two different beasts. So I completely understand that.
Yeah.
You can see it and recognize it and know the
Mhm.
words. And it is so hard in conversation. We were actually talking about that too, about how I love you, Nigeria. I do. I love you. But how they don't something with the accent when it translates to English, there's not a lot of distinction between each word. So you kind of get these slurs of things. I'm always like, what? What'd you say? It's not because I'm deaf. Like you just blurred 10 words and this is English we're talking about, not even French. God forbid you pull in pidgin. And oh my God, when I said pidgin, he was like, girl, you know what you're talking about. I'm like, so it's just fun. But we were saying that too with like just French, how there's kind of two variations. There's what's taught in school and it's very formal and it's very masculine, feminine and all of the things like, all the things. And then the like casual conversation of like between friends is very different. Like it's slur almost, like you don't say that. And I was like, I don't know, maybe my French is just transgendered because it's both masculine, feminine. It's all the things. Some days I just want to be more masculine and everything has the masculine on it. And then every day it has the feminine. I was like, I don't know. And like, we were just laughing so hard because, you know, when you find those things and you just pick it apart and have so much fun with it, it's just a mess.
And the other person totally understands what you're talking about.
Yes. And it's like, oh my God, thank you. Like, gender neutral. I think I just said transgender. I'm sorry. That could work too, but I meant gender neutral. Excuse me for my trans people. I love you dearly, but that was the wrong playful way of using my sexes in my sexes of French. My God. But yeah. And just, like, ça va, it's just so casual, you know, you're not going to say, bonjour, comment ça va? Qu'est-ce que tu veux? Like, you know, like you're not going to go that way. It's just like somebody look at you and be like, what's wrong with you? But I was sharing that it's a playful way of having like a secret love language when I'm dating people, especially when they speak multiple languages. Let's hope one of them is French. Because then it's just that like inside thing. You have that wink from across the room or something. You have that secret handshake or that hug or something. But then when you can also be like, oh my God, get me out of here in French, you know, it's just kind of nice to be like that. So
yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I learned a lot in my little Lyft drives.
I'm telling you, I like for one networking event, that was a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too, is like all those drives are like their own networking thing, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The guy that took me was Nigerian and the guy that brought me home was Congo. From the Congo, I guess is the more appropriate way to say that. But and Nigeria was great. I mean, he gave me a great tour, told me all the things, slurred his words a few times. And it was just funny because like then the ride home, I'm like, yep, that just happened. Now, I'm not to say any of the Nigerians are illiterate or anything like that or speak poorly. It's just they get so passionate and then they talk so fast. It's just cute. So anyways, it's fun.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I have a type. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's sexy to me. I love all of the accents. Like we've talked about this too before in college, you know, I would pick my professors specifically that would have accents because I would pay attention longer. Like learning, oh my gosh, I think it was either calculus or trig. I had a British, he looked like he had just stepped off of like a rock concert, but he wore this like black, like cloak, I would say, but like think like professor, like the long cloaks that you would see at like university thing.
Yeah.
No sense for like America. So I was like, what the freak are you doing? But oh my God, captivating, like teach me everything. Right. And then I think I had a German professor for a chemistry class too once, and that really helped. I don't know why, but I love accents. It's more intriguing. It's more interesting.
Yeah. I didn't have that option.
Yeah.
I went to school in West Virginia. Like, we didn't have a lot of differences in people.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we just didn't have the option. Just didn't have the option.
Culture. I just love. I do. I love culture. I love variety. I love all the things. I don't know.
I mean, I do too. That's why I love to travel.
True. Just
didn't
not
get that
public.
in my
Yeah.
hometown. I mean, I'm from a little town in West Virginia.
Yep. Yep.
You know,
Um,
I'm
yeah.
like one of maybe 10 people in my whole graduating class that ever left the state.
Wow. Dang.
Yeah. I am one of like 5 people in my entire family that's ever left the state or
Wow.
the area.
I guess I can thank my parents for that. I don't know. I've
When you're
always
from a
been
small town,
attracted to
though.
diversity though, too. Even like in Ashland, like where I spent most of my childhood, my friends were very diverse, very,
I mean, we
very.
got a lot of diversity because we were only 2 hours outside of DC. So like, I mean, we went into the city for a lot of stuff just because
Mhm.
we were
Yeah.
in the country. We didn't have much else. We had to go into the
Yeah.
city for some things.
Well, I was
But
just thinking of that. Like Natalia, who was my mentor growing up. I mean, my favorite thing about her is she has like feather hair. Like her hair is actually made out of most feather and it's like every color possible. And I mean, I would just say, God, maven of genius-ness. I mean, artistry, amazingness. My coach growing up was Turkish. One of my, the like honorary big brothers I had, beautiful Black African-American man. Like, I mean, just like it was like, I had nothing that was like,
yeah,
just all white. But it's interesting how we grow up and how just different and how much our environments impact us and what we've been exposed to. And I love that we both love to travel and that we love culture and that we love people and like talking and hearing their, stories. Like, I think I'm saying this correctly, but the man that drove me to the event, he was teaching me about juju music. And I was like, oh, I thought that was like a magic thing, like juju, like I didn't know. And so just fun that like, it's just fun. I think I'm saying that correctly. I may have murdered that, but that's a poor choice of words. Sorry, I may have mistaken that, but yeah, it's interesting. And I don't know. There's so much to learn and taste and like foods and I don't know. Like the last date I went on, right? We went to the Fulton Market, which is like this inside, what do you call those? Food court thing, but it's fancy. It's like restaurants that make a food court. And I think we had, what did we end up eating? Honestly, I don't even know what it was. I was just excited. I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. I was like, don't tell me what I'm eating. Just let me try it. And then tell me in case there's anything funky up in here. But yeah, no, it was good. What do we have now? Shoot. I don't know if it was like Korean, Vietnamese, something like that, I think. But it's not something I order often. So I was all excited about it. Yeah. Just fun.
That's one thing. So my brother obviously
like it's spicy curry. That's why I'm assuming those two.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, could have been Indian.
Yeah. Something.
That's very curry.
I should look that up and get back to all of us about that.
My brother spent 8 years in Korea.
Yeah.
With the Department of Defense. And so that is one thing that he says that he really misses about Korea is Korean food.
Yeah.
He loves Korean food because it's mainly rice and meat. And he doesn't like vegetables. So like he loved it. Yeah. Of course he loved it. But yeah, he's like, I do miss good Korean food because now that he's back in West Virginia, he obviously does not get that.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I mean, Chicago has such great food. As you and I both know, we have eaten our way through Chicago. People are like, what have you seen? I was like, it's more about what I've eaten.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know that I've seen as much, but I've eaten a lot.
Right.
Great. Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I like my life when it's the good. Well, obviously we all like the good days, but that one where I just felt like I got all of the me parts of the day, it was very creative. It was very people-y. It was very like cultural and diverse and just fun. And I don't know. Everyone also is really nice here. Like when you tell them, like everyone was like, don't get in a cab and say you're new, but I do. And they're so nice. It's like getting a free tour every time. They're like, this is this, that's that. Over here we have Loyola and up here we have this university. I don't know. I would be curious to know. I should know this, but why should I? Anyways, how many universities are in Chicago? There's a damn one on every corner, it feels like. I feel like there has to be at least half a dozen, if not more. There's got to be more than that though. Like it's wild. It's crazy. There was one spot up here though that we were joking about somehow. Beautiful, beautiful old cemetery, like old. And there's like a brand new apartment strip like put in right there. And he said it was very controversial when it went in. I was like, who the freak would rent that? And I was like, I just have to think, it's not even now that it's built. It's the person that woke up that was like, oh, I know, let's bulldoze the cemetery and build this that I'm concerned about. Like, crazy. But yeah, it was gorgeous though. I mean, probably one of the most beautiful cemeteries I've ever seen. Like the headstone, it's gorgeous. Like that should be, it's gotta be like an attraction that is in the maps or something, like go tour this or visit this.
We have a few of those here.
I bet.
Like we have some gorgeous cemeteries because you get in there and like you have obviously we're like an old city as well. Like we do have a problem. You can't just like build on burial grounds like that. Like here it's a big
here
like,
too. I'm sure that
like, it's a really big deal here.
Yeah.
And we have one, it's called Magnolia Cemetery and it's downtown and it's super old and you get all of the headstones that are like hundreds of years old, but then you get the like big oak trees with all the Spanish moss hanging over them. So it's like that, like, okay, this is what a cemetery should look like. Like it's beautiful and creepy at the same time that you're like, perfect.
Yeah, this one's like not right across, but very close to the waterfront. I think, I don't know, my head was swiveling so fast to look at things. But I swear it was like right on the waterfront. And I was like, that's a good place. Like, some good things there. But yeah, just interesting. But yeah, I get like beautiful tours. Everyone's so nice. Oh, what brought you here? You know, like, do you know this? And over here's this neighborhood and and everything's $1 million homes, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, well, like
that Midwestern hospitality.
Yeah, I really love that part. They said though that I still had a Western vibe. And I was like, what's that mean? Like, how do I get it off? Like, I hate that.
I mean, I'm sure I stand out like a sore thumb with my little Southern accent when I get there.
I mean, it only pops out every now and then on certain things, but no, but like, even you have an accent. See, like all the type people, like, type. But yeah, I was like, oh, not in a bad way, nothing against the West Coast, nothing against y'all, but like I was curious, like what is it like, you know, like
what gives that back?
Probably how I say like, Oregon, because it's Oregon, not Oregon. Gun.
By the way, sorry, I'm changing the subject, but this made me think of it when you said Oregon. Just this week, a new law passed in Oregon that now you have to pump your own gas.
Oh shit, really?
Yes. The only state left in the union is New Jersey now that you have attendance.
Seriously? Oh god.
Just this week. Wow. Yeah. Sorry. When I read it,
they better have like tutorials or people out there helping train people, because
when I read it, I instantly thought of you and that. I was like, I gotta remember to tell Ashley this because I just passed this week. You have to pump your own gas now in Oregon.
I like that.
Like the rest of the country.
That sucks. But yeah, no, I won't lie. If anyone needs like another element of like my stupidity, I don't know how to pump gas. I've never had to. Like my childhood in California, I was young enough that I think maybe I helped a parent do it once or something, but I never really had to. And then when I've lived most of my life in Oregon, and anytime I'd have to go to Washington, I'd always make sure the gas tank was full because I didn't know what to do with the damn thing. I just was really dirty and smelly, and I feel like I'm gonna make a big fire. I don't know. It's just scary to me. But then coming out here, I was thinking the other day, they were talking about something about gas. Oh, I was in an electric car. There's a lot of them here, actually. Yeah. I know they're everywhere, but it seems to be very prevalent here. And we were talking about the charging stations. And I was like, now that I could learn, but this gas pump thingy. And we were also talking about the difference between the challenge of there's all these amazing bike paths here, but you have to like remember how to ride said bike versus scooter. And I was like, I think I want a scooter because that takes less like da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Like, I just have to be like, da-da. Stay on my little scooter. Okay. But yeah, I do need to, I want to be able to scooter better than I know how. Like, I want to know just how to pick them up, take them out. But Ellen, that friend that I shared with you here, she said she would scooter with me. So I want to try one.
Okay.
I've yet to break
Do
my
it with,
scooter
I was
virginity, but
gonna say, do it with somebody first.
right. Don't do it by yourself. I
Yeah.
know. But it's funny. They're always parked out by my door too. So like people ride and
Yeah.
they do with them, but, that would be fun. So yeah, crazy how life just gives us all this fun during the week.
No, I read that and I was like, oh yeah. Well, and I also didn't realize New Jersey also still
I
had
know
it.
why,
So like
but why? Like that,
they're the only state that still has it. I mean, I do remember growing up, like when you pulled into a gas station, you had a row of pumps that were self-serve and a row of pumps that were full service. And if you went to the full service, it was more expensive, but you had an attendant pump it for you. If you're self-serve. So growing up, you had choice one or the other, and then it went all to self-serve because full service was too expensive.
Why did they make that a thing? Did it say?
Why did they change the law?
Yeah.
It didn't say.
Okay. Just curious. Cause I'm like, to me, that just put a ton of people out of business or sorry, out of work. Like,
But
there's
so like, how much did you pay for gas though in Oregon normally?
Oh God, I don't know. Because I have no idea, because do you not remember the massive spike that just happened, that it was like $10 a gallon or something like that? So like, I don't even remember what was reasonable. And I'll own this too. Maybe I'm a horrible person. I don't know. I fill the tank. I never get the receipt and I move on with life. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I need it. So like, it's not something I pay attention to. I pay more attention to my cheese.
Well,
I have disturbingly expensive taste when it comes to cheese, and I will find something that's like a wedge for like $17, and I'm like, oh, maybe not today, and I put it away. But gas, I don't know.
I mean, I get that. Yes.
I'm being like,
I mean, I get it.
You got to pick your battles. You got to pick what's in top of mind. And that is not one. It's more like fill it with regular. Thank you so much. Enter GPS. Where am I headed? Like, I never paid attention. I mean, even when the gas price spiked, the only thing I did was I remember checking on GPS because it was cool. It would show the price of all the gas stations. So I'd go to the one that was like the cheapest of that. But, doesn't matter what it was. Just got to do it.
I suspect it comes down to price. Like
maybe, I don't know. But I remember I did have a friend come in from out of town. Remember Brandon? He almost got ticketed because he tried to pump his own gas, and the attendant was like, "That's illegal. What are you doing?" And he got so scared because,
I mean, I would have been that
like
race. I would
have nothing to do with the fact that he was Black. It had to do with the fact that he's in Oregon and you can't pump your gas in Oregon like that.
I would have been the same way. I would have been like, what the fuck?
Like, what's wrong with you? Like, we're all like, what are you doing? Yeah. No, I'm realizing there's a lot about cars, especially if ever I were to need one here in Chicago. I don't know, because the way they drive, batty. It's more about like guidelines than rules and law. They get so close. I mean, you can touch the other cars. That would be difficult for me. Like, the taxi drivers are just baller. They're impressive as hell. Like, I love them. But wow, I don't know how they do it. Like, they don't get in accidents, but they should have hit at least 5 people on the way. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be tough for me.
All of the stickers, you have to have a neighborhood sticker, the city sticker, the state, like, it's just beyond. Plus the gas, plus the parking prices. I think it's $250 a spot in my building, if not $350. I'm not sure what it was, but I was like, guys, no way.
Yeah.
So the one thing I would like to do, somebody gave me a little bit more comfort last night. He's like, I let my girls ride the red line. I'm on what's the red line of the CTA or the L. And everybody's told me, don't do it. But I really want to. It seems like part of being a Chicagoan, like, and I want to get through my first year. So I get any of my like newbiness, or just the fact that I don't know the stops off of me. So it's a little safer to do by myself, or whatever the situation is. But I want to be on the train. It looks fun.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, public transportation is a good thing.
Well, it's also like, you remember in Paris when you take the metro, like it's fun. It's an experience. Like I get for the commuters, they're just like, what the hell you're talking about? It gets you from point A to point B, but it's an experience. It's fun. I don't know.
I mean, I interned in DC and I took it every
Right.
day into the office as a commuter and like,
And I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, it wouldn't be an active line if it were so unsafe. And I was like, I wonder, maybe, I don't know. Watch me get on and get mugged. I don't know. Just saying, like, I don't know. Be smart, keep your wits, you'll be fine. Don't, provoke
yeah,
rage, but still, like, I should take it. Oh, well, we'll see.
yes.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I took it into the city every day.
I know. I mean, it's there for a reason. Like, hello.
Yeah. I mean, that is like I've never been a kind of like big city kind of girl because I grew up in the country. But that's my one thing about living in a big city I would love is just like not having to have a car, either walking or taking a train somewhere. I loved that in DC. Like DC has a very easy metro system to follow. And so like it was easy to drive to the nearest metro station and then be anywhere I needed to go in the city without.
I think I do need to also lean. One thing that I'm getting a little snooty about is I'm getting very spoiled with my lifts and things because it'll be like a 30-minute commute versus like if I were to take a bus, it's more like 45 minutes to 50 minutes kind of thing. So I need to get used to a longer commute thing necessarily. But I've been great so far. And I mean, honestly, there is no way that I'm spending more on even getting personally chauffeured to places by Lyft and Curb and all the things than I would be spending if I had a car here. There's no way because I don't use it that often. And even last night when I'm bitching about, this is going to be a $60 round trip in a day, that's still, I haven't been anywhere in 5 days. Like that still does not equal what a car fee would be.
There's a difference when you're doing that to and from work every day, 5 days a week.
Yes. And I'm going to account for that in my negotiations. We'll see.
We'll see. Good luck.
Maybe year 3.
Good luck with that one.
No,
I would negotiate.
I want to get like a scooter. Like
I would negotiate vacation time before I negotiate that. Because
but you don't really have to go, like when you live in a place like this, you don't need vacation because this is the vacation stop for a lot of people. So it's kind of fun.
Wait until you're in a job every day.
Okay, we'll see.
10 days a year is not a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, that's what's going on here. Just having fun. I like meeting people. I do. Not all of them though. That sassy little shit on Tuesday. God. He was mean.
There's been a lot of drama happening too. Like, so my client, that's the payroll company. So they have sold all of their payrolls to another payroll company because they're getting out of the business basically, which is great. Well, they did that 2 weeks ago and they're like, starting July 1st, everybody's moving over to this new company. And I'm like, you're going to move 100 companies, 100 clients to a new payroll company by July 1st. You got 2 weeks to do that. Like, I've changed payroll companies before. It's not an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I actually do the payroll for their biggest client.
Mm-hmm.
And last week when I was there, they were like, oh yeah, they're on board. This is your last payroll working with them. Like after that, they'll be with the new company, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, great. Well, the owner of the company calls me yesterday because I do her payroll. And she was like, I got a call from this guy and I get a lot of sales calls. So I wanted to make sure this is a real guy first. And I was like, that is a real guy. He is from the payroll company. She was like, I just told there was going to be changes. What, like, do you know anything? What's going on? And I'm like, you have 100 employees and July 1st is in 3 days and you don't even know that there's a new payroll company. I'm like, oh my gosh. Poorly executed. So there's a lot of drama there.
Yeah.
So
the only way I can relate is that like my bank was bought out by US Bank, as you know, and like the paperwork is insanity. Like I can't imagine, like, I know that's a bigger like system being changed, but payroll's pretty much the same thing. Like I can't imagine that there isn't like an SOP for transfers like this, or something that is like a standardization that's implemented when this happens, or like an industry, what do you call that?
An industry standard. Yeah. I mean, there's not like a compliance to it, but the problem with it is like, if you run your payroll for your employees every week, you only have 1 week to get it right. Right. Like, so it's very timeline driven.
But then why aren't they being notified 30 days in advance of exactly how?
Exactly. Like, here's the steps you need to take before we switch within this like short little window, like just been poorly executed. And I'm just like, hey, I have no dog in the game here. So I'm like, I'll just do the work I need to do and you tell me what to do, but what drama.
And then that creates just such an unrest and so many calls and so many questions, and then the people, well, and I won't lie that I did, once I finally sat down and read it, I will give US Bank a credit. Like it was well written, it was well explained, it was pretty like dummy proof. Like if you read it, it gave you timelines, but it was also long timelines. So I think my biggest concern, well, you guys don't necessarily have this, but I was thinking, what do the older citizens do that like don't have the business savvy, don't have like just my wits about me, you know, you're older, like how would they take care of this? Like, oh my God. And then my crazy OCD where I have the accounts, you know, everything that comes out on each of the cards, like, yes, it took me a good hour to like go through and get into each account, switch out the card, yada, yada. But what about people that don't know what's on being charged to that card? You just set up auto pay, like, what do they do? And I was like, oh my gosh.
Or people that aren't tech savvy.
Yeah. Not fun, not fun. So what's your person gonna do? Like she's just 3 days? Like clearly you guys are gonna work the weekend.
I'm away.
Oh.
I'm out of town.
That's shitty. What's she gonna do?
I don't know. And I'm really just the point of contact at my payroll company. So I don't know. Supposedly yesterday afternoon they were having a meeting and I haven't been looped into any of that. I mean, and the only reason she contacted me is because she's the one I talk to every 2 weeks to run payroll. And we talk about like very specific payroll stuff. We don't normally talk about like what's going on with anything else, you know? So, but we do talk like every week. So of course she called me because I'm her point of contact for stuff. And I'm like, I said to her yesterday, I was like, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm as much in the dark as you are on this. And she was like, okay. I'm like, I mean,
which is good for the transparency, but also like, that's a scam.
I was like, I will get with Bobby, your accountant, and like, see if I can get any information for both of us. And she was like, that'd be great. And I was like, but you can call this guy back. He's not a sales guy. Like, I do know he is like the owner of that company. You should call him back. And she's like, okay. She's like, I just want to make sure because I get so many sales calls in a day. Yeah. You never know who's like real and who's not. She's like, so I just wanted to make sure. I was like, no, that one is good. I totally understand what you mean because I get the same thing. And she was like, well, I'm like, my schedule's so busy. It's not like I can just like throw a meeting on the calendar for Friday. And I was like, I get you. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen. She goes, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, we kind of like connected on like, we were very similar in this regard. So she was like, Ronnie gets me.
Yeah. You know? And that's so important, especially in those like tense things or things that are out of our depth. I mean, you've been helping me with taxes too. Like and you know, what's scary. And I've been having moments about this too, is like, as we all know, that was one area I got royally screwed. Trusting an advisor that it's so weird. There's this catch-22 of like, you're supposed to hire these experts because they know what to do and ethically, morally, and soundly do it. But then also we don't know what we're doing, and it goes back to even branding and marketing where they have to know enough, but what do you need to know and yada, yada. And I have felt so stupid this last round of taxes I don't know what it is, but I have just felt like, I don't know what happened. I never met these people. They've been very nice in their communications with us, and like, they're great people. I know it's being done, but God forbid, like, just what's to say, like, if they had, this is not the situation, but if they were like tax evaders or something like this, I mean, they have all my information, my accounts, like everything. Like, so weird how we blindly trust that things are being taken care of, yet at the same time, we should know more, have more. I don't know. It really gets my little soft spots.
Mhm.
Like,
Well, and I mean, even in this case, like that, while they speak the same language because it's still in that same industry and field, from company to company, they have different lingo within the company, right? Like, so like even with payroll, like we have what we call live payrolls and monthly payrolls, but that's not what they call that in another payroll company. Like, so
then
everybody,
they're like, well, I'm used to this. What does that look like over here?
right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, in your change kind of specifically, they even have their own lingo that probably your old tax people didn't have. So like you feel stupid because you're like, I should know this, but maybe I don't. And it might be just that's just how they say things.
Yeah. I just remember I was very spoiled with Jerry. Jerry's always been my tax lady, and she was so nice. And I remember because I went in because I went through the things that I went through. And I have to, whenever I hire someone, and I didn't do it at all with these people, which that's another thing to mention, but I often vet the human first. Like, I don't even care what we're doing. If it's a doctor, if it's a lawyer, if it's a tax person, like, I just want to know some of the basic things. And I had to ask, like, are you a CPA or are you there's another credential that's like one step under that? Like, what is this? Mm-hmm. And because of the situation, long story short, a financial advisor embezzled my money and it was cute and I went through a lawsuit. Anyways, that's what I'm talking about. So when I went to her, I was like, can you just at least, I don't want to know how to file a tax form. I don't want to know any of this, but can you at least explain the forms that are in front of me so I have at least an idea that I can't say what I did the first time that fucked me, which was I signed on a line. I didn't have a clue what I was signing, didn't care, didn't think I needed to because I was working with someone I knew, like, and trust. And it was like a thing. And so I've been thinking a lot about that, but like, I feel good with the doctor. I feel good with these guys. The next one I need to find is a dentist. It's on my to-do list, but I finally got my cards in the mail. So I need those. And it's just interesting though, how much of our lives that it's the most important stuff. We don't know what we're doing. I mean, maybe there are other people that need to, call me personally and tell me that I'm fucking up as an adult, but it's like, it's crazy. There's a lot to know. And it's, I've been a lot too with this job, joy hunting is, how much of my time, energy, and brain knows this vertical. And outside of that, I mean, cooking, pumping gas, I don't have a clue. You want me to brand your company and make it iconic? Absolutely. But, it's like where we put our time and energy and what we focus on. So,
yeah. I mean,
but I'm very glad that I don't have a car and I'm not living in Oregon and I don't need to learn how to pump my gas. Cause I'd be FaceTiming you and be like, okay, do you see the thing over there? And then this and like, what goes where? How's this work? But I remember Scoot would have been good. She had that little like twist thing in her and is it the gas cap?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody has a gas cap and there's a twisty thing.
I'm smiling. I promise. Maybe not.
Hey, there's a big difference between like doing your job that you were trained in doing and like life.
Yeah.
Like they don't teach you in school how to life.
No. And it's just everything. It's daunting. We have to be perfect nutritionists to be able to know our, calorie intake. We need to be CPAs to know how to file our taxes. We need to be financial investors to be able to work our finances.
Manage our money.
Then we need to be savvy in law to be able to handle our shit when people fuck with us.
Chefs to eat every night.
Oh my God. Like, I just can't be all these titles. Like, I just kind of want to retract it and just be like, I just want to be a She-Hulk. Like, what's that do for me? Like, is that okay? Can I just damn, that's a lot. Anyways,
Ad-
that's
ad- Adulting, when they do the hashtag adulting is hard, like it's for real. The struggle is real.
seriously, people. Yeah. I think that's one reason I really liked business and the way that I built Iconic Details was, even though I didn't know, like I spoke barely enough, even the French that I was speaking about earlier, spanking about. Anyways,
Freudian slip.
But speaking about earlier, I knew my people and the way that they, like, shout out to Alex and Nakia, they take legal and make it so comprehensible and understandable. And they walk you through the contracts that you've paid for before you use them. And then Jason and Tyler with logos and websites, like they didn't put it over your head that you weren't, Adobe and Photoshop Illustrated, like galore certified, and working with you and everyone, it's just like, I knew I had really great people around me, and that like what I needed to know would be explained to me, but the rest was like, we got you. And like, I knew that they were solid people that could help with that. And it's funny, like reestablishing your life, like finding those people again and being like, good friend, bad friend, good friend, bad friend, good person, bad person. You're evil, you're nice. Like, it's just interesting.
Well, and being in a new city and having to reestablish like every single doctor and dentist and like everything.
Yeah.
And in a city where there's, in a city where there's like millions. Like,
yeah. The only thing
decision fatigue.
It is. I added that to the therapy list. Anyways, that too. I cannot say enough about the realtor that helped me move here, but also just the damn luck. I landed in the best apartment in the best little neighborhood. Everything is walkable. It's very like, I have really great things, yes, I do need the dentist, but the vet that I know, the chiropractor that I know, like they're good. They're not, they're all their little things. So it is fun to find those people, but yes, thank you for the credit of, decision fatigue.
Yeah.
Even the new nail place. I know, you guys, I always say like, you can tell the status of a woman by her nails. Like, look at me. 2 are just gone. Like gone. Oh God. But I'm going, I think today, don't worry. It's either today or tomorrow, nail appointment immediately. I was like, girls, help. But even that, I think I've been through like 3. One was great, but it was a half hour away. The other one, oh my God, she was like chainsaw massacre with it. It was just scary. I was like, can I have my paws back? Like I'd flinch. This one's very nice. This was my own doing. That was not her. This was my own doing. But yeah, just it's a lot. There's a lot. So I'll find it all, but not overnight, and baby steps, and leaning into what I know, and just trying to find my joy.
That's right.
Oh, we're over time. I didn't see the time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of Mimosa Hotline. Again, next week, Chris will be joining us from True Focus Productions. I want to make sure I get that out right. He is an awesome human. If you're loving our guest experts, you're going to love this one. And we'll have updates with you after that about what we're doing, where we're going, and all the things. But happy summer. That's a big thing. I think our viewers are down because y'all are having a great life. I hope that you're listening to us on the replays or on an audio version of some sorts, and however you're doing it, but all the things. So thoughts, questions, concerns, emotional outbursts, Miss Ronii?
No, everybody have a good, safe 4th of July. And
yes. Yeah. Watch your pets too, please.
Yes.
Make sure they're protected. We know that you have your big bangs and booms, but watch your.
If you have anxious pets, please make sure that they are safe.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.